Hello and welcome. This is Star Sports Press Room. My name is Tanay Tiwari and this is a one-of-a-kind initiative this season on Tata IPL 2024 on the Star Sports Network, where we speak to our friends in the media, digital, print, electronic, all of them come together to speak to our revered experts. All right, our guests from the media, our viewers, it's time to introduce our first guest today. 22,000 international runs for the West Indies, a mentor for the Sunrisers Hyderabad, a true bona fide legend. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Brian Lara. Welcome along, Brian. How are we doing?
Good.
Good to see you.
See you.
Up next, 6 IPL titles in his kitties. An IPL legend, a man with a warm smile on his face always. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ambati Rayudu.
Hello. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us, Ambati. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian. Handshakes, we've done with the pleasantries now. The Tata IPL this season on Star has been bigger than every other season, and I've tried to remember all the numbers. It's difficult because there's so much that's happened, but 35 crore viewers in the first 10 games, right? 14 feeds, 10 languages, a special feed for the differently abled fans out there with the sign language. What else am I forgetting? There's so much. And then, of course, you can, watch the Tata IPL in your own preferred language. Then, the Star Sports Press Room. Ambati's been here for a while now. Brian, how are you enjoying the IPL experience here in Star Sports?
It's been great. I think it's a tournament full of excitement. The results so far, some good, some bad for some teams, but I think the cricket has been of a high standard. And I think it's only going to get better as teams start getting into full form. And we're going to see better cricket in April and in May, and of course a lot of teams vying for that playoff positions. I think it's going to be exciting for the rest of the IPL.
We saw a bit of you in the Star Nahi Far campaign as well. You went in Hyderabad, met the fans. How was that?
That was cool. I mean, if it's one place I can call home, because I've spent a couple of years with the Hyderabad team, and yeah, I've had the biryani, I've had the food, I've played golf there. It's just an exciting place. So to be there with the locals, it's pretty exciting. It was good fun.
Also, how much are you looking forward to speaking in Telugu now? We saw Stuart Broad and Steve Smith do a lot of Hindi, AI-enabled Hindi. How about AI-enabled Telugu this season?
I'm still learning. So I'm not going to venture out too far. I think get a little bit more accustomed to what's going on, and I'll give you a few words.
Superb. And we'll let the AI do the rest of it, as we did with Stuart Broad and Steve Smith. Really looking forward to that one. Ambati bhai, you've been here for a while. हमने बड़े मजे किए हैं Hindi studios में. We've been together. आपके लिए अब तक का highlight क्या रहा है?
I mean, I think it's the cricket, obviously, and also all the stats that Star Sports keeps giving, all the insights. When you're playing, you don't know there's so many stats out there. So it's a new experience, it's a good experience, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, it didn't seem like Ambati was making his debut. He was very, very sharp in the studios, like he was in the field. It's now time to introduce all of you to our friends from the media, to a few as well. Can we have them right here? Our friends from the media, appear. There you are. Hello, hello, hello. Let's have the first question then for you, gentlemen. And the first question is from The Telegraph. Shrag Banerjee.
Hi, Brian. So, Brian, the first thing that I would like to ask you is that which of the young Indian batsmen have impressed you the most so far in this IPL, and why?
Okay, well, I'm going to stick to this IPL, not an Indian batsman that have impressed me, young Indian batsmen that have impressed me over time. But this IPL, I would think that Abhishek Sharma is definitely one from SRH that I felt has improved from what I saw in 2023. He's striking the ball well. I'd maybe like him to go on to get big scores. He's getting to 30s. He got a couple scores over 50. So hopefully he can carry on, because he needs to bat through the innings, either opening or number 3. He's been a very important part of SRH. The other one that has been a huge surprise, because he's been around from quite some time, is Rian Parag from Rajasthan Royals. I think his batting is looking solid. You know, you've had a few good innings. It does not look like if it's a flash in the pan. But obviously, he is someone, hopefully as the tournament goes on, we will ensure that or see that he scores a lot of runs for Rajasthan Royals.
Yeah, those are two very, very big names, and there's been investment in the both of them. Abhishek Sharma from the Sunrisers Hyderabad has been there in the setup for a while. Rayan Parag, all of us know the investments that Rajasthan Royals have made into him, and then are reaping the benefits of it. And we're reaping the benefits of all of your company. Who's the next one? Who's asking the next question? Prem Sain from the PTI, if you're here, please.
Yeah, I have my question for Brian, sir. Sir, what should be a ideal strike rate this IPL? Because we have seen Virat Kohli scoring 150 runs, which has not been sufficient. So a 200 strike rate is a new norm, if we can say, this IPL.
That's a heated debate.
Yeah, I think strike rates are very much dependent on the position that you're batting. If you're opening the batting, I think a strike rate of 130, 140 is quite sufficient. If you're batting middle and low order, I think you've got to be 150 and above. And the way how the IPL is going this year, the amount of runs has been scored, I think your strike rate at that latter part of the innings have to be above 200 to give your side any chance of winning. But as an opening batter, I believe 130, 140, 150, if you get there, maybe in the last 5 overs you can strike above 200 and maybe eventually have a strike rate of about 160, 170. But yes, you've got to be, it's got to be your position, and I think you can't depend on any one person. It's the entire team has to contribute for you to get the runs that you need.
All right, the next question is from Niharika Raina from the IANS. Niharika?
Hi everyone, my question is for Brian, sir. So it's regarding Abhishek Sharma. I mean, he has had a great start to his time in IPL 24, and as someone who has spent the last 2 seasons with him in the SRH camp, just want to know his view on what he thinks of Abhishek's performance so far and what he feels is the driving force behind his good show at the top of the order.
If I get that question correct, his success so far, I think, bases just on his natural ability. He's someone that has a huge amount of ability. I'm still slightly disappointed because I believe he's had great starts and he needs to carry on. He needs to understand that I'd have loved to see him score the first IPL 100 this year, and he had opportunities to do so. He didn't. But the 2 years I played with him, I coached him, I worked more on his mental side. I feel that his mental strength needs to be a little bit better, and I'm seeing a little bit of success in that area. But again, he needs to score hundreds. People only recognize you and remember you when you score big runs, and I hope that he can do that soon.
Well, all of India hopes that Abhishek Sharma can score those big runs. We've seen the flair in that bat, and what would we not give to see him hold that bat up as a centurion, and that would be great. But the next question is from Abhishek, Aditya Maheshwari from Hindustan Times Digital. Aditya.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. So my question is for both of you. Looking at KL Rahul's current sluggish form and his under-par strike rate, do you think he's still in reckon for the selection in T20 World Cup? And what is going wrong with him at the moment in terms of strike rate?
All right, that's a question for the both of you.
I mean, no, he's, he still has to get back into form, but I think he's going to get back into form. And I feel he should be batting slightly, maybe number 3 or number 4, if he has to really get into the Indian side and stay in reckoning, because there are already too many openers who are contending for the spot. So ideally he should be batting 4, and it will be good for LSG as well if he can do that, come in the middle overs and really play till the end. That's what Indian team needs as well.
Anuj Prabhu from the Sports Kida, I think you're next in queue. Please ask away.
Hello everyone. My question is for both Brian and Ambati. Brian, being a legendary left-hander yourself, I wanted to ask you about Yashasvi Jaiswal. It's that kind of a form for him that he hasn't faced it before, a slump. He has seen so many highs. So what advice would you have for someone like a Yashasvi Jaiswal with a T20 World Cup selection on the line potentially from this campaign?
Well, as a batter, you're going to go through some poor form at some point in time. He's been very, very special for India. Test cricket, 50-over game, and even in the T20 version of the game. Obviously, he wants to be in the Caribbean for the World Cup. I know that, in America as well. I think that eventually he's going to get into form at some point in time. I feel that presently he looks like if he's a little bit too anxious to strike the ball. He's maybe getting to the ball a little bit late, not really focusing on a lot of foot movement, a lot of body movement. He just wants to smash the ball. So for me, the advice I'll give him is just to sort of relax at the crease. You know, maybe even have a look before you go big, because he has the ability to strike and bring up his strike rate whenever he wants. So for me, at this present time, is to get set and then he can go big. Right now, he looks like he's rushing to play his shots too early.
All right, it is rivalry week in Tata IPL 2024 and it just doesn't get spicier, especially with some of these superstars. CSK, KKR, MI, RCB, CSK, MI, especially MI, RCB for a lot of reasons. Two teams who've had change of guards, especially for the MI this season, Brian. Not the best of forms, but when they meet each other, it's a different story altogether.
Oh, well, yeah, that's what it is over the years, MI versus RCB. MI getting into a little bit of form with their recent victory. It was great to see Shepherd, a West Indian, do well. I think they're timing very well. RCB is more of a structural problem. You know, their form is okay, but I don't think that they have the right team out in the middle. I don't think they have the right batting order. I think MI now knows their batting order, a bit out of form. Sky played. He hasn't scored any runs. I think they're in a better position to really press this rivalry into their favor.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. This rivalry week, I tell you, the kind of undertones that it'll have, it's going to drive you crazy. But the next question is from Unni Krishnan from the PTI, I assume. Krishnan, please ask away.
Yeah, hi. My question is for Brian Lara. Brian, you just spoke about that Yashasvi Jaiswal looking a bit anxious in terms of the World Cup selection, playing on his mind. So is there a danger of that T20 World Cup playing on the back of the player's mind and they are overreaching the task of batting or bowling?
Yeah, that's a very valid question and statement, because you are in the team. Sometimes you feel that you're in the team, and other times you know that you're just on the periphery. There are a lot of players, a lot of talented players in Indian cricket. So you've got to be on your P's and Q's at all times. I think that could be playing on a lot of the players' mind. Jaiswal or Shubman Gill, even Abhishek Sharma, who has not been in the mix, but he'll be thinking, if I can get the most runs in this IPL, can I go to the Caribbean for the World Cup? So yes, my advice would be to sort of put that behind you. You've got to play in the moment that you're in. You've got to play for Rajasthan Royals as Jaiswal. You've got to score runs here first. You've got to get your team to the playoffs and make the finals. I think your run's going to speak for itself when these things happen. So you're quite right. It could be playing on the younger player's mind. And for me, back in the day, whenever that happened, I found that I struggled. If I did not take the moment and the match into perspective, and I thought of something else that I could not control, I struggle. So my advice to these young players is that Tata IPL 2024 is where you are right now. Play this game, play this tournament, and let the World Cup worry about itself.
That's so interesting, because with just the amount of cricket that we've had, Ambati, you can sometimes lull yourself into either going too far ahead or too far back. And that is why also so many contexts, so many conversations, like we were talking about the rivalry week as well. MI versus RCB, there's so much history, there's so much that's happened in recent times to both of these teams. It's the mother of all rivalries, as they call it. But irrespective of what's happened, does this bring out the best in you as a player when you face a particular team? Does that happen? Has it happened to you?
Yeah, I mean, it does, especially when you're playing against RCB. When you see them all pumped up, you tend to get your best cricket on that day. So it happens. And also that, it's been the case where even if you have played at your best, teams like RCB, back in the day can beat you. So that's the little fear that every team has when you used to play RCB, but I don't think it's the case anymore. But you never know.
Slightly rubbing it.
Yeah.
Very subtle. Very subtle. Like his drives, just very subtle. But we'll move on to the next question. Deban from Times Now.
Hi everyone, my question is for Brian. Hi Brian. So see, you've been part of SRH team. You've seen the rise of Umran Malik, but now he's kind of nowhere to be seen. So now we have another speedster coming up, Mayank Yadav. and he's been doing really well. So my question is to you, what India in particular have to do so that do not turn out to be another Umran Malik?
Well, first of all, I think Umran Malik still has a very bright future. So it's not about turning out like an Umran Malik. I think Mayank Yadav obviously is someone who has hit the scene. He's new. Last year he was around, but I think he was injured. And that sort of early effect you have on players. When you're new and you're coming with a lot of pace and a lot of bounce, the batters sometimes take a bit of time to get accustomed to you. He's been bowling brilliantly. Unfortunately, might have suffered a little bit of a side strain. Hopefully that does not keep him out of the IPL for too long. But I think he's got to keep improving, and he's got to appreciate the fact that batters are going to be looking at videos. They're going to be looking and seeing what he's doing, and they're going to come to counteract that. So for me, he has to stay a step ahead. He's got to learn. He's got to talk to big bowlers, the Jasprit Bumrah, the players, the international bowlers that you have on show here. He's got to get as much information as possible to stay that one step ahead. But I think he's got all the goods to become a great fast bowler.
अमृति भाई ये ज़रूरी भी है ना, because हमने बहुत बात करी and we've spoken a lot, Brian, about the fast bowlers. Umran Malik is just one of those cases. थोड़ा सा संभाल के रखना होता है अमृति भाई फास्ट बॉलर्स को, क्योंकि जितनी तेज वो डालते हैं उतनी तेज इंजरी के चांसेस होते हैं. आप जब उनको देखते हैं आपको खुद ही लगता है बतौर फैंस, बाहर से हमको तो लगता है कि हमारी नजर ना लग जाए उनको कहीं.
I mean, when you have a good stock of fast bowlers, I don't think you need to be that careful. But he needs to play a lot more cricket than maybe he is, because eventually when you play a full season, you would know where your body stands, or how fit are you, or how strong are you. So it is very important that he plays a full season and then takes it from there.
All right, we'll move on to Diya Kakkar from the India Today group. Diya, ask away, please.
Hi, Brian sir. Hi, Ambati sir. So my question, first of all, before I get into the real thick of things, Ambati sir, I really wanted to ask you that, how was the ritualistic biryani party that was thrown by you for the CSK players? Please tell us about that first. Then I'll get to my real question.
All right, she wants to know about the biryani party first.
There's nothing ritualistic about it. It's just that they were in Hyderabad, and once any of my friends are in Hyderabad, they would generally ask for a good biryani. So it's just that I had 2 days off, so I could be there, and we could really help the players have a good meal. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, it was actually great to see. And now I'll ask my real question to you. So, sir, as you know, this edition of the Indian Premier League is also being seen as an audition for the upcoming T20 World Cup. And, especially the wicket-keeper spot as well. There has been a lot of contention for this. So, who so far has impressed you the most, and who could potentially get the ticket to the US?
No, I think so far Sanju Samson for one, and Rishabh Pant definitely. They both I'm sure should be in contention for the World Cup, and I think they both should go to the World Cup because they both can play in the middle order, and especially Sanju can even open. He can be flexible in the order. I feel they both have been doing the best job so far.
Who'd get your vote, Brian?
I'm at right away. I think both players should go. I think they are the best on show in terms of their batting. I love Sanju Samson. I think he's an awesome player, great time of the ball. And of course, Rishabh Pant has been so good for India over the years. Obviously, coming back from the incident, I think he's showing great form. So for me, those two are definitely the front runners for the position.
All right, now all of you guys have been asking your questions. I've had one question for a very long time, especially with this rivalry week. I'll just ask that real quick to Ambati. Ambati bhai, we keep talking about this IPL Classico. Mumbai Indians taking on the Chennai Super Kings. Now, is it a dilemma for you? You've played for both the sides. You've won titles for both of them. Is it a dilemma? Which way are you going this week?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm yet to get over my latest ex, so definitely I'll go with CSK, for this season at least. And it's always been a great game because, as I said, when both the teams play, even if both the teams play at their best, anybody can beat anybody. So it's the case where when you play other teams and you play at your best, it's very seldom that other teams really compete. Yeah. But when it comes to CSK and MI, it's not the case.
It's a different story.
Yeah, it's a totally different story, and I'm looking forward to a great game.
And CSK winning.
What?
And CSK winning. Right?
Yeah, ideally.
Yeah, see, that's what I love about Ambati bhai. He just slides it in very casually. And CSK winning. All right. Next question we've got is from Shobayan from Ref Sports. Shobayan, are you here? Ask away.
So anyone can take this question. So Brian sir earlier in the show said that there is a bit of a structural issue in Royal Challengers Bengaluru. But at the same time, they have made quite a few baffling decisions, like not playing Vijay Kumar Vaishak in his home in Bengaluru, dropping Mahipal Lomror and inform Mahipal Lomror in his hometown Jaipur. So do you think what are your opinions about such calls? And for Mumbai Indians, is it the best time to play against RCB?
Yeah, well, it's definitely, first I'll answer the latter question. It is Mumbai's best chance to play because I think that they've solved a few problems. Sir Kumar Yadav is back on the field, did not contribute, but the fact that he's back on the field makes them a much stronger unit. RCB is still searching to find what is their best form, their best team. And you're quite right, a player like Lumrah, who I think has done everything asked of him, coming as an impact player, done well and not playing. I think that they should just shift their attention a lot more to the local talent. A lot of emphasis is placed on, the international talent and what they can do and how many matches that they can win us. Of course, you've got Virat Kohli, but I think you've got the local talent there who really and truly, you cannot win an IPL trophy without performances from the local stars. And I'd like to see them included more in critical moments of the game.
Something that we were talking about and Ambati bhai had actually alluded to on one of our shows as well, and that went viral, that took really the social media by storm, that he'd said that sometimes it's a lot that is left to be done for the RCB domestic players while the big names are sitting in the dugout. That's what he said, Ambati bhai.
I mean, they need to play with a longer batting lineup with, dividing their best names accordingly. I mean, proportionately, in fact. You cannot have all your, so-called best players up top and leave everything, all the pressure situations for the young boys.
Yeah.
So you need to phase it out, and definitely Maxwell needs to come at number 6 or number 7 and finish games along with Dinesh Karthik. I think that will serve them well going ahead into the season.
All right, up next, Aditya from the ETV network.
So my question is to both of you, Brian and Ambati. So the first question is for Brian. The thing is, we have seen some classic innings from Virat Kohli. He has just scored 100 against RR. And then we have seen Rohit Sharma playing some brisk innings against in the yesterday's match. So what do you think about going with the openers as Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli as the openers in the T20 World Cup? And the second question is to Ambati, is that who would you pick in Bishnoi and Chahal? Because they both have been performing well for their respective teams. But we have seen Chahal hasn't got an opportunity to play for India. But Bishnoi, who has done exceptionally well for India in the recent times and has been performing well in the IPL as well. So who would you pick in the 11 or in the 15 when you draw a team for the T20 World Cup?
All right, so let me represent. The first one is for you, Brian. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli as openers in the T20 World Cup for India. Your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, both great players and both players with a lot of experience that going to the West Indies will serve India very well. I think when you're picking your team and your batting order, you've got to pick what you want the players to do. It doesn't matter who fills that spot. They've got a job to do. If you want to get 70, 80 in the first 6 overs, you got to pick players to do so. It doesn't matter the name of the players. So for me, they are great players. I think though that you should have some youthful punch in the opening spot. One of the younger players in there showing their mettle, showing what they're capable of, and have those experienced players, at least one of them, down the order where they can sort of shepherd the innings and bring the innings together right through till the end. So having that experience up front, it could have a negative effect on the players if they go early. So I would sort of use one, yes, but maybe use the other at number 3.
Ambati bhai, Bishnoi, Chahal, that's a tough choice.
Yeah, I think, it's a tough choice, but depending on the conditions, if the wickets are slow in the US and they offer some help, then definitely Bishnoi can go. But if the wickets are flat, you would need the experience of Chahal, to bowl on good tracks. Because I don't think Bishnoi really has that at the moment. Chahal is a master. The only difference between both, I would say, is their fielding. Bishnoi is a brilliant fielder, and Chahal really comes short when it comes to that. So it's a tough call to take whether you want a proper leg spinner who can really bowl on a flat track, a slow track, and against any batsman, or do you want an all-round proposition where you can also field well, and if the wicket assists, then you can bowl your legs.
Yeah, it is a tough choice, as it is in our rivalry week as well. We of course keep discussing about the rivalries. There are neighborhood rivalries as well, and we in India have our neighborhood rivalries. When you're just looking into your neighbor's house and seeing what he's doing, is the music too loud sometimes, Brian? Delhi Capitals, Lucknow Super Giants. Now Delhi Capitals haven't beaten the Lucknow Super Giants even once, but the Lucknow Super Giants hadn't beaten Gujarat Titans even once, and that changed. Do you see this changing as well in this rivalry encounter?
I think Delhi Capitals are really struggling. They've got a good team. On paper, they look good. Their only victory this year is against one of the favorites, CSK. So you can't say that they don't have a winning formula when they're ready, but they're just not playing at their best. And Lucknow seems to be able to play an average game first half and still win.
Yeah.
So I still think that they are not at their full potential, and they've got 3 wins on the bounce just up till today. So I think that Delhi is going to struggle, and hopefully Ricky Ponting and his management could pull things together. Ganguly is there as well, but Lucknow has the edge, has a huge edge actually.
Huge edge, a big one, and that's going to perhaps trouble the Delhi Capitals. But there's also the North-South rivalry, Ambati bhai. Punjab Kings taking on the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Big firepower players in either teams. He's given a big edge to Lucknow already. How big an edge are you giving either of these sides?
I think Sunrisers are looking quite good. I think they're looking better than what Punjab is looking. Because I've just like how you have seen the other day, they won it, but it was not convincing at all in terms of Punjab beating GT.
Yeah.
But SRH has been beating good sides convincingly, and they're playing with a proper plan. They're playing with a proper strategy. So I think SRH has the edge.
We'll move on to Ankit Banerjee.
My question is for Brian Lara. So, Lara, you belong to a very special breed, right? You're a left-hander. So my question to you is, who is the young Indian left-hander who has impressed you the most? Well, I'll throw a few options for you. There is a Yashasvi Jaiswal, there is Abhishek Sharma and a few others. So who has impressed you the most, Lara, and why?
Well, I mean, definitely on the international stage, Jaiswal has done very well for India, a couple double hundreds in Test cricket. So of course he's taken and he's gone ahead of Abhishek Sharma. Abhishek Sharma, I think I have a very close relationship with, and spending a couple years with him at SRH, we became very close, and I see a lot of talent in that young man. I believe he can go the distance. I think he can get out there, he can be playing for India for quite some time. As I mentioned before, his mental fitness, his physical fitness are 2 things that he will definitely have to work on. He is not a selfish player, which is great. He goes out there and he hits the ball for SRH. Sometimes I wish he has that little bit of selfishness where he gets a good score and he goes on and gets a bigger score. And we've seen him go out there and played beautifully, and all of a sudden he's gone. Those 2 left-handers for me are the ones that really impressed me in Indian cricket for the last couple of years.
Piyush Jha, you're up next from the Dainik Jagran. Ask away, please.
Yeah, my question is for Ambati Rayudu. What do you think that KKR as a 2 main player, Andre Russell and Sunil Narine, as the game will gonna progress, how difficult for KKR to bring new players in the room? That right now KKR have a 2 crucial players, Ambati, Andre Russell, as well as Sunil Narine. Do you think that KKR is more dependent on both the players?
All right, so is there over-reliance on Andre Russell and Sunil Narine, and how do you do away with that problem if there is an over-reliance on them?
I think they are really doing a great job so far. That's also giving time for other players to settle in and get into the tournament and take their time, especially the captain Shreyas Iyer, who is yet to fire. And I think a lot of young KKR batsmen are also doing well, and even their bowlers, even Harshit Rana we have seen is doing a great job. That way, I feel they are doing well, and there's enough time for others to come into the tournament and perform. I don't think it's over reliance.
Okay.
It's been a few years since these two have really played to their potential, and they're doing it right now, which is a big danger sign to CSK in the coming game. But all's well for KKR at the moment.
I was about to come to that. Now with KKR in red hot form, what a hat-trick of wins. And it's been a spicy rivalry. I mean, they stopped a hat-trick for the Chennai Super Kings, a hat-trick of title wins. Way back in 2012, I think. 2012 was when they did that. Then, of course, Chennai Super Kings came back and beat them in the finals in the IPL not so long ago. How's that rivalry? Is there shape and form to it inside the dugout?
I mean, not as much as CSK versus MI.
Okay, all right.
But because I know KKR has beaten CSK in 2011. It's been a bitter game for CSK, and it took them a while to recover from it. But coming back in 2021 and winning against KKR was sweet. Even though KKR didn't play to their full potential in that game, they started off well, but they fizzled out. End of the day, they are playing much better cricket than what CSK is playing so far in the tournament. So it's going to be a great game. But eventually, when the business end comes, I'm sure CSK and MI will find a way to beat KKR again.
I like how Ambati bhai almost reverse jinxes it. he's trying to underplay CSK. And CSK not that good. KKR playing really well, KKR might. But then in the end, he eventually says, no, CSK and MI, they're going to beat them. Don't worry about it. And that's all. That's actually all Rivalry Week is about. It's just about that rivalry, doing your best to make sure that your team comes up against your rivals. Now, up next, who do we have? What is the next question coming from? Abhimanyu Bose from Cricinfo.
Hi, Brian. I have just a couple of questions for you. Firstly, just expanding on an answer you already gave, who do you think should be India's top 3 in the World Cup? And just the second question, if I can, in the T20 game, do you think there's a place for touch and timing players like yourself? Or is it becoming more of a power hitters game?
All right, top 3. And is there a touch and field player who still can make it to a T20 side? First, India's top 3 in the T20 World Cup.
Well, I think for me, India top 3 in the starting lineup would be Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, and Virat Kohli. That would be the top 3. And yes, to answer your question about that player who could sort of, work the ball around. I think every T20 team needs a guy who can anchor the innings together. He should not be the match winner. He shouldn't be somebody you think that's going to win the match, but he's someone who is going to hold an end, minimize the amount of balls that he faces by giving the strike to the big hitters, but ensure that you don't find yourself in trouble losing wicket after wicket. So I think Aiden Markram, Virat Kohli, these sort of players are definitely needed in a team around some big hitters that can win the match for you.
You agree with that top 3 for Team India? Would you like to make a change? Top 3 for Team India in the T20 World Cup starting lineup? Who's that?
I think that's the best top 3 we can get. Maybe Yashasvi, Jaiswal in place of Gill, because you can throw in a left-hander there. That's, that might be the only change, but not in the 15, but just in the 11.
All right. Okay, sure. Pratyay Tiwari from the Cricket Tracker. Pratyay, ask away, please.
My question is for Ambati. Last year, when MS was asked about his retirement, he said that he would want to return one more time for his fans, provided his body allows him to. Fortunately, it did. But the position he is currently batting at, there's a great chance we may not really see him with the bat for majority of the matches. Do you think he should be promoted up the order? And just not emotion-wise, move will make cricketing sense too, because if you consider what he did at Vizag against the Delhi Capitals, so do you think he should be promoted up the order?
That's a question everyone's asking, Pratyay. Thanks for being a voice for so many. Ambati bhai, should MS bat up the order?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, up the order meaning definitely the last 5 overs for sure. Maybe not from the 10th over also, but when it comes to 14th or 15th over, he should walk in. No matter how many wickets are in the shed, he should walk in because he's in great form, and you could see his knee is feeling well. He's really hit a lot of shots with a bent knee, which bent right knee, which was not good last season, and he's looking in top form. So I think it also serves CSK well this season. The middle order has not been great, especially getting the last match. They scored only 33 runs of the last 5 overs. So I think he should come in a little early.
He should. Please listen to us, MS. Please come up the order and just play some of those shots. As he said, bent knee over the covers. That's amazing. But the one thing, and now we've had a decent enough sample size, Brian, throughout this tournament. The 2 bouncer rule, when it came in, seemed like a good boon for the bowlers. How have you seen it progress this season so far?
Well, it's good to add different things to the cup. To the Tata IPL, but I think it's actually helped some batsmen who love the short ball, and obviously it's sort of other batters who does not like the short ball. But these things are not going to stop, runs from scoring. Runs are going to score. The pitches are good. The bats are good. The players are getting more accustomed to the IPL. They're learning different shots. But it's a great addition. It tells the fast bowlers that yes, the batters can't just take advantage of you all the time. The batter has to keep looking out for that second short ball. So I like the inclusion of that rule.
But I like how the batter and Brian spoke up and said it's not really going to affect the batters, and that's actually true. 277, 272, 234 already in the tournament. All right, next question, Beba Bhola.
My question is to Ambati. Ambati, अभी श्रीलंका में मैंने आपका इंटरव्यू किया था, तो आपने वहाँ पे मुझे कहा था कि आप नेक्स्ट सीजन में चाहेंगे कि रोहित सीएसके के लिए खेले। सीएसके तो अच्छा कर रही है, लेकिन क्या आपको लगता है कि आरसीबी एक ऐसी टीम है जिसको रोहित शर्मा की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत पड़ सकती है इन फ्यूचर?
मैंने बोला था ये सीजन नहीं, मैं बोला इन द फ्यूचर।
अगले सीजन का ही मैं कह रहा हूँ, आपने अगले सीजन के लिए कहा था।
हाँ, अगले सीजन तो अभी मेगा ऑक्शन आने वाली है, तो मुझे पता नहीं आरसीबी को रोहित शर्मा की जरूरत है या नहीं, बट आपको तो हेडलाइन का जरूरत है लग रहा है।
He doesn't have a mic, but he just dropped one.
I mean, it is Rohit's call at the end of the day. If he wants to, wherever he would want to go, he can go, and all the teams would love to have him and have him as a captain for sure. So I think it's Rohit's call. And I'm sure he'll go to a franchisee which maybe treats him better than what has happened here.
Yeah, all right. We'll keep discussing all of this. We'll also keep talking about the rivalries, because in this rivalry week there's another encounter. Kolkata Knight Riders versus the Lucknow Super Giants. These two cities, Brian, I don't know how aware you are, but they keep fighting about the biryanis. They say, Lucknow says, we've got a good biryani. Hyderabad, of course, keeps saying we've got the good biryani, as Ambati Bhai just said. Kolkata says, Kolkata biryani is the best. Our producer, she just said, Kolkata biryani is the best. And they also now will fight over Gautam Gambhir, who's jumped from Lucknow Super Giants to his old team of the Kolkata Knight Riders. It's going to be spicy.
Yeah, it's going to be very spicy. That Gautam Gambhir leaving LSG and heading over to KKR and showing the sort of form that KKR has at the moment. I wonder if Gambhir has taken his luck and take it in. Now we're going to find out what's happening. I mean, he's going back home. It's going to be a huge match. And I think that, the player's going to play it out on the field, but a lot of attention is going to be given to Gambhir as well. But also, I mean, you may not know, but Puran plays for TKR, which,
he does,
as you know, it's a KKR, part of KKR. So obviously there's a little bit of rivalry there as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see the Sunil Narayan and Andrew Russell versus the Puran and our young guy, Shamar Joseph, who's also there. So it's a great encounter. I look forward to it.
Oh, man. Oh, you've just added so much context to it. I can't wait for that encounter. That's all Rivalry Week brings to you. Just this top-notch action. But that's all the time we have on Star Sports Press Room today. Big thanks to all the persons from the media. Thank you so much for joining us. You remember, Tata IPL 2024 is best watched on television, as was witnessed by 35 crore plus people in the first 10 games. We know you're just going to shatter all of those records in the coming weeks. You just sit in front of the TVs, leave all the rest of coverage, all the chatter, all the banter, all the biryanis, kebabs, rivalries to all of us. Big thanks to Brian Lara, Ambati Rayudu for joining in. We'll see you next week on Press Room on Star Sports.